Okay, we're here today with Illustrious Brother A. Cobb, Past Grand Master of North Carolina and the Sovereign Grand Inspector General of the Scottish Rite, Orient of North Carolina. We're talking today about the vision and the future of the Scottish Rite. What is your vision of the Scottish Rite and the Orient of North Carolina over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I think the first thing I'm going to have to, and I hate to start out something with a negative word, but if you look at the age of our membership, there is a tidal wave of death approaching. We need to have more conversations about that. We're going to have to talk about how to operate in a more lean fashion. We've already taken some steps toward that here in the Orient by doing away with the assessment for events and, charging registration fees and that kind of thing to get ready for when that happens. We're going to have to take very seriously involving young people sooner. One of the things that the Valley of Newbern proved this year was that when new people come into the Scottish Rite, they don't come in to wash dishes or do kitchen duty or clean the building. They come in to work. And the best way for them to work is to be put into a degree that isn't being done. And that is going to become a higher priority in the state over the next 3 to 5 years. If a valley wants to be able to say they are doing their best, then they need to be adding degrees from new class members. And having had a part in just about every one of the degrees at some point in my life, I can truly say there are some degrees where you can do it with 1 speaking part, 2 speaking parts, or 3 speaking parts. So if a class comes in with 4 people, a valley has no excuse for not getting another degree going.
Well, then what is your top goal that you're challenging each of the valleys to do in the next coming year?
We cannot control that tidal wave of death that I said was coming. I mean, nobody can do that. But what we can do is control our demits and our suspension for non-payment of dues. And the way that we do that is we get involved in a relationship with our members. We stop seeing people as on the rolls, because remember, I was a pastor for 45 years and I heard church folks say, we got to get our rolls up to date all the time. Okay, all right, we got to get our rolls up to date. Is that going to change what goes into the offering plate every week? Is that going to affect the plan of salvation in any way, shape, form, or fashion? No. But what we've got to do is remember, like our Sovereign Grand Commander has said, what matters is that handshake. And what matters is that one-on-one contact. And what matters is when you pick up the phone and say, hey, brother, I've been missing you. Not, hey, buddy, pay up. I mean, we've been sending the wrong message too long. And I hope in the next 3 to 5 years to have, let me just say it this way, to have removed that cancer from this Orient.
How can members in the Valley who aren't officers get more involved and make a difference?
Well, the first thing I would advise is to have some conversation with your brothers about getting involved in degree work. And then go to your director of the work and say, hey, several of us have been talking, we'd like to help with some degree work. And would you help us figure out a place we can land, a place we can fit in? And then after that, and I hope secretaries will appreciate this order in which I said things. You don't get anything there, go talk to the secretary and say, is there something I can do? Don't go in and say, I'm going to do this, or we've been talking and we think we got to do it this way. That's not the approach. I've tried to exemplify serving and offering yourself. And it's just better to do it that way than to come in with a list of demands that once they're not met, you're not going to be happy and then probably depart. And we don't want that.
Okay, do your Orient chairs really do anything?
Huh.
I happen to know one that's way overworked. And how are they helping shape the North Carolina Scottish Rite?
I think the Orient chairs are really helping us a great deal. Could they do more? Some of them, yes. Should they do less? I think we'd suffer if they did less. Am I happy with what's going on right now? Absolutely. We've got a lot of things that we've got to talk about, and we'll be talking about at our Summer Orient Advisory Retreat. I'm looking forward to hearing from them a little bit. The Americanism chair has changed, and what a lot of people don't realize there is that the former chair had a call to ministry, and he was focused on helping a church, and he ended up getting recognized by his denomination, and he's now pastoring a church. And Illustrious Tim Parker, thank you so much for all of your service. We've got a new membership chair in Thomas Van Etten, and Thomas is getting his feet wet in a lot of ways. He and I talked just this week about some things. And the person to whom you're referring, Strategic Communications, about being overworked, not a single member of our team is able to understand where her energy and commitment level stops. She works so hard for us and has brought so much to the table for the Scottish Rite of North Carolina to help make us, I'm just going to go ahead and say it now, the best Orient in the whole jurisdiction.
You have a habit of leading right into the next question almost every time. It's some kind of weird talent. You have to have practiced these answers. How is the state of North Carolina's Scottish Rite shaping the future of the Scottish Rite at large and helping future generations?
Let me be real clear about this answer. I don't know that we are. I don't know that that's our goal. I would like to think that what we do is going to have impact on a broader scale. But remember who I used to work for. And Coach Smith always said, we're going to do things the way we do it. And if we can't do it the way we do it and it work and we lose, at least we did the best we could the way we were supposed to be doing it. So while I hope we can be impactful, and I certainly enjoy it when I hear that somebody else is picking up on what we're doing. I love hearing that, but don't get me wrong. I'm not about that. I'm about North Carolina doing and being the best North Carolina can be. And as long as we do that, I think we're going to be where we need to be.
What advice would you give a Master Mason considering joining the Scottish Rite? And is now the time to join for any particular reason?
Now is a great time to become a Mason and to become a member of the Scottish Rite. I would say that the answer to that question would depend on how old the man was. If the man was 18, I'd say, come on. If the man was 35, like I was, I would say, go sooner. Why didn't you come sooner? It varies from age to age. There's no improper time to make that petition. And now is a great time to be a part of Freemasonry. I know I may have already, you might say, oh, well, I guess he did say that because he's already spoken about a tidal wave of death and he's worried about members. Let me be very clear about this one. I'd rather have 10 Masons than 100 members. And if you put into practice the things that are taught in both the Blue Lodge, in the York Rite, in the Scottish Rite, if you put those things into practice, you will be glad you did it, and you'll have happy reflections when it's time to look over a well-spent life.
It's currently June of 2026. Is there any current reasons why to join the Scottish Rite right now?
The best reason I could tell you would be the joint reunion that's getting ready to happen in August. Now, time is running out on that, and I've made it very clear across the state, that we've got meetings, I think, in Asheville, Winston-Salem, Wilmington, and Raleigh on July the 1st. And then we've got a meeting in Newbern on July the 12th. And those are the last opportunities to put in petitions for that August 29th one-day joint reunion with Prince Hall. It's a historic thing. It's never happened. And we're going to be conferring I believe it's the 14th and the 30th degree. Prince Hall is going to be doing the 4th degree and the 18th degree, and then the communication of the degrees will be handled by the respective leaders of both Orients.
What is Project 100, and how can members get involved with that?
Project 100 is an initiative that we launched last year. Our goal is to have one Mason, one Scottish Rite Mason in every county of the state, or representing every county of the state, who will pass along information to Blue Lodges and bring information back to us from Blue Lodges. There's a time, this is not revealing a secret in Masonry, so anybody wants to bring me up on charges, have at it. But there comes a time in a Masonic meeting where everybody's asked, has anybody got anything else they want to say? Well, every single Scottish Rite Mason has an opportunity, whether they're the county representative or not, to say, hey, we've got a reunion coming up, we'd love to have you. Or we just did this for Right Care, we just did this for D. Malay, we just did this for Rainbow, and thank you if you helped out with doing it. Thank you in any way. You have that opportunity at every Masonic meeting. And I really have to commend the folks who are communicating with their lodges now. I'm already beginning to see petitions from those places because these guys are doing. I got several Project 100 team leaders who have 3 and 4 counties. The funny thing about it is, in a couple of those, there are no Masonic lodges in those counties. But there's still a presence of the Scottish Rite in those counties. And with Charlotte Speech and Hearing Center coming on board, they are in 5 different counties, like Appalachian State is in Watauga and Catawba County. Macon County and Jackson County is served, and Cherokee served primarily by Western Carolina, and the whole eastern side of the state by ECU. So we're all over the place, and we're just going to try to make that presence felt even more in the next 3 to 5 years.
How are Scottish Rite members and their families involved? Is there any opportunities for wives and the rest of their families to get more involved?
Good question, because we just started a ladies auxiliary to kind of help us with events that we have as an Orient. And I'm hoping that's going to catch on in some of our valleys so that we'll feel comfortable doing things that we can do. Now, obviously, you can't do things in a tiled lodge in front of wife and children. But you can have meals together. You can do things like that. You can you can do club meetings with your wives, with your children, with potential Master Masons. You can bring them in and give them an opportunity to see what it's like to be around us. And then, of course, there's the Grand Master SGIG train trip, which that in and of itself is an opportunity for husbands and wives. I mean, we've even had children on that trip. They've taken the kids out of school to go on it. That's between the parents and school. I'm not telling them to do any of that, but they did it. And it's just a great thing, because I believe if you can't do something in front of your wife and family, you don't need to be doing it.
Well, this has become a time-sensitive video. We're going to need to get this one out first. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.